Hello and welcome to this month's edition of the Inside Report. I'm Doug Baer.
And I'm Constance Blackburn. This month we're going to take a look at recent improvements at the Central Kitsap Wastewater Treatment Plant, and we're going to visit field assessments with the Assessor's office. But first, the headlines.
Well, the Kitsap Blue Jackets opened their West Coast League baseball season earlier this month. The West Coast League is the premier summer collegiate baseball league west of the Mississippi. The 12-year-old, 11-team, professionally operated Woodbat League is located right here in the beautiful Pacific Northwest. It features pro prospects from major conferences across the nation and has an unparalleled history out west of great fan and player experiences, not to mention some of the best summer weather that you're going to find in the United States. The Blue Jackets play in the Southern Division with the Bend Elks, the Corvallis Knights, the Cowlitz Black Bears, the Gresham Gray Wolves, and the Yakima Valley Pippins. All home games are played at Gene Loeb Field here at the Kitsap County Fairgrounds. Schedule and ticket information is available at the website shown below.
There's been a lot of talk lately about disaster preparedness. The county's Department of Emergency Management offers a great program called Map Your Neighborhood. This free program is designed to help neighborhoods prepare for disaster and teaches ways to bring your community together in a time of need. The program identifies the skills and equipment in your neighborhood, helps you create a neighborhood map and contact list, and teaches you how your neighborhood can work together as a team during the hours following a disaster. You can learn more about this program at the website shown below.
Well, that's good information. You know, it's almost summer, and that's a great time to visit a county park. County parks offer trails, playgrounds, swimming, and much more for you and your family. And many parks also offer group facility rentals for your special events. You know, there was a recent article in the New York Times that discussed a study that concludes that images of green space and walking through green, leafy parks helps relieve brain fatigue. And the study also found a positive impact on the cognitive skills for young adults who use parks. County parks are open during daylight hours only, and there's no charge to visit them. To find a park near you, go to the webpage shown below.
98,457 change of value notices went out earlier this month. The assessor is required by state law to appraise property at 100% of market value. Notices are based on property sales that have occurred since January 2015. These updated values are used to calculate property tax obligations for tax year 2017. Property owners can check their values and characteristics on the new and improved Parcel Details feature on the Assessor's website shown below. Sales trends for the county are also available on the website, as well as information regarding the various property tax exemption programs offered. Anyone with questions or concerns about their taxable value for 2017 can contact the Assessor's office at the phone number or email shown below. Property owners who choose to appeal their value to the Board of Equalization must have their appeal postmarked by Friday, August 5th, 2016.
All right, next we're going to take an inside look at some recent improvements at the Central Kitsap Wastewater Treatment Plant in Brownsville. Lisa Horanyi, our outreach coordinator for the sewer utility, brings us this report from the plant. Lisa?
Hi, I'm Lisa Horanyi, the Education and Outreach Coordinator for the Kitsap County Public Works Sewer Utility. I'm at the Central Kitsap Wastewater Treatment Plant. This plant has been in operation since 1979, and we serve the following areas in Central Kitsap: Keyport, Silverdale, Central Kitsap, the Bangor Naval Base, the Keyport Naval Warfare Center, and the city of Paulsbo. Altogether, we serve over 50,000 people and have an average of 4 million gallons of sewage treated here each day. In fall of 2015, we wrapped up a 3-year construction project that made a lot of improvements to the facility. Some of these improvements are going to allow us to operate more efficiently and recycle products that were previously going to waste. For example, methane that's created as part of the treatment process is now being recycled into energy to power the plant. And we've also added tertiary treatment, allowing us to recycle water for beneficial uses. Today we're going to talk to some of the people here at the Central Kitsap plant to learn more about these technological upgrades that are designed to serve Kitsap County for the next 20 years. Right now, I'm at the aeration basins. At this part in the treatment process, We add air to the water to feed these helpful microorganisms that are eating away at the bad bacteria we want to remove from the water. We've had some upgrades in this area, adding an additional aeration basin and also some high efficiency blowers for energy savings. I have here with me Neal, the plant operations supervisor, and we're going to let Rich tell us a little bit more about these upgrades and how they've improved operations at the plant.
Well, good morning. For our aeration basin there and stuff, this process and stuff, with the added aeration, we're able to go ahead and remove the nutrients now versus the organics that we were doing in the past. The reason why it's so important as far as to get rid of the ammonia on that there is because it's just as toxic to the aquatic environment as chlorine residual was years ago, which we used to use for disinfection and went to UV there. So we discharge probably about 800 to 1,000 pounds daily. So now we're able to remove most of that there, and it's a huge plus for the environment there.
That's very interesting, Rich. Thank you for the explanation.
You're welcome.
Next, we're going to follow the path of the water to our new tertiary treatment. Now I'm here with Patrick Kongslie, our utility operations supervisor. We're standing in front of a sand filtration system, which was a new addition as part of our 3-year construction project. This system provides tertiary treatment to the wastewater that will allow it to be reused in different ways. Patrick, could you tell us a bit more about this system and how it treats the water?
Yeah. Hi, as Lisa said, it's an upflow sand filtration system designed for 4.1 million gallons a day to go through there. The plant is designed to run 90% of its flow through this filtration system, which, based on laboratory data, removes about 50% of the suspended solids in our plant effluent. So prior to this upgrade, we were discharging that to the Puget Sound. In the future, we will be recapturing that resource and sending it back to Silverdale Water District to be used for irrigation in the Silverdale area.
Thank you for the explanation, Patrick. Are there any other uses for this recycled water?
Yes, we currently use this filtered water throughout our treatment processes. This helps limit our use of potable water from the drinking water supply.
Well, thank you. That's a very good way of using water as a resource and not a waste stream. Now that we've looked at some of the upgrades we have to wastewater treatment, we're here to talk about upgrades to the way we treat the solids that are in the wastewater. Rich, can you tell me a bit about the upgrades to our solids handling and how those have improved operations at the plant?
Sure. This part here and stuff is what we call a rotary drum thickener, and what we were trying to improve on the process was the thickening process. So our old way of taking our primary and secondary sludges, we would do them in a gravity thickener, but they could only get about 2.5%. So now by us separating the primary and secondary sludges, we can get our biological sludges that we call them, and we can thicken them and blend them together and get 5%. The benefit of that is that with 5%, we can feed our digesters much thicker. It's less heating and stuff because it's less water going to the digester. So we take up less space, so the thickening process is very important.
And after this thickening process, then the solids go on to the digesters. Is that correct?
That's correct, yeah.
After the digesters, we're going to look at our next upgrade, the cogeneration facility. The digesters produce methane, and we're going to see how that methane is being reused to provide energy to the treatment plant.
Through the anaerobic process, biogas is created. That biogas, before this upgrade, was just flared off to the atmosphere through an open flare unit. 39 million cubic feet a year was flared off. Now we are recapturing that resource and using it in our cogeneration system. The residual gas is burned off through a fully enclosed waste gas burner that gets greater than 99% methane destruction. Here is our new gas conditioning system for the cogeneration unit. This is an H2S scrubbing media that works its way through a siloxane media prior to going into the cogeneration generator. This allows that we remove these contaminants prior to the combustion of that gas. which allows us to extend the life of the equipment. The digester process requires us to maintain a temperature of 96 to 98 degrees Fahrenheit. Prior to the upgrade, we heated those tanks using only diesel fuel. Since this upgrade, the cogeneration unit is able to heat those tanks 9 months out of the year without using diesel fuel. This is projected to give us $135,000 in diesel savings annually, as well as generate $120,000 in electrical energy.
And there you have a brief overview of some of the technological upgrades that we have here at the Central Kitsap Wastewater Treatment Plant. There's a lot more to see in the wastewater treatment process, and if you're interested, this facility is available for tours. We also give tours at our other treatment plants in Suquamish, Manchester, and in Kingston. For more information, visit the website below. This is Lisa Horanyi reporting from Central Kitsap Treatment Plant for the Inside Report.
Thank you, Lisa. That was very interesting. It's great to see innovative new ways to make county operations run more efficiently. And generating electricity from methane is a great way to reuse a product that was in the past just being burned off. Constance, you had mentioned earlier about the property value statements being mailed. I understand you got to spend some time with the assessor staff and learn how they compute that.
I did. That's right, Doug. Our next segment takes us inside the assessor's office and out into the field to look exactly at how those valuations are calculated. Let's take a look.
We're going to learn some more about the assessor's office and what their function is here with new construction and how they work to assess the value of these new homes. Let's learn some more. Here with me today is Kitsap County Assessor Phil Cook. Phil, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Constance, for allowing us to be here.
So we visited your office just a couple months ago and we learned a lot about the exemptions programs that your office sponsors. So here we are out in the field today. Tell me about what we're learning.
Yeah, well, the exemptions is just one aspect of what our office administers for the citizens of Kitsap County. One of the other things we have to do is go out and determine all the values of all the real estate throughout the county. We currently have a little over 117,000 tax parcels in Kitsap, and that makes up both residential and commercial property. And one of the things we're tasked with doing is every 6 years, we have to visit every single one of those properties and inspect them to make sure that we have all the characteristics of those properties correct for when we determine the values on those properties.
Wow, that's a lot of properties.
It is, and we do that with a pretty minimal staff, but we're very efficient and they're highly trained and they have a lot of technology to assist them.
So what are we going to be doing specifically today?
Well, we talked about doing all these inspections and hitting all the properties once every 6 years and visiting them all. But what we also get into is new construction. And in Kitsap County right now, we're getting a lot of new homes being built. And one of the things we have to do is go visit those homes. We look at the permits when they're filed with the different municipal building departments or with the county building department. And then we have to analyze that and then get the characteristics correct. And then we go out in the field and actually confirm what we're getting. We can confirm square footage and the building quality and condition and so forth.
It sounds really interesting, actually. I'm excited to see in person and what that kind of appraisal looks like.
Well, we're here out in the field to be able to do that. And actually, I have one of our appraisers here who's actually doing that right now.
Perfect. Let's go check it out.
Let's do it.
Hi, Perry.
Hello, how are you?
Good. Phil told me I might find you out here.
Yeah, just out here verifying the new construction characteristics.
Interesting. I was really hoping you could walk me through it a little bit and explain to me your process out here.
Yeah, most important is verifying that we have all our characteristics correct. So we'll measure the house for exterior measurements to verify we have the right square footage.
Okay.
From there we will inside verify we have the correct bathroom counts, fireplaces, and any other characteristics that might add value to this particular house.
What kind of characteristics are those? How does everything come together to create one appraisal?
Good question. All sorts of interior and exterior characteristics drive value. For example, siding. You know, if it's a vinyl or a cement fiber siding, something that it has more cost. Inside, your difference between countertops, maybe a laminate countertop or some sort of granite slab. Difference between vinyl and hardwood or tile. So those are the characteristics that we really focus on when trying to describe every house.
Sure. And how do you keep up with all the new construction that's going in around the county?
It's difficult. There's just a few of us appraisers. What we will start with is in the office, we will look at the set of plans to get the exterior measurements. That really helps us get a jump on it. So when I'm out here measuring, we already have those. So that's what we will do to set out to capture all the new construction that there is in Kitsap County.
And how often do you have to visit those sites in the construction process?
Statutorily, we're required to visit every property and value it as of July 31st. We will do it once a year, typically during the summer when we end our revaluation cycle. We will we'll visit each property at least once that has a permit or should have a permit.
That's a lot. There's got to be like a team of 50 of you, right?
No, I wish. Job security, I guess.
Sure.
I believe there's 9 of us residential-wise that inspect properties, and we each do, maybe between 15 and 25 a day, and usually it takes about 2.5 months to get it all picked up in the county.
Sure. And how long does each site visit take you, like say per house?
This particular house is roughly 1,800 square feet. If I already have good measurements, I could probably get it done in 10-15 minutes. This particular house is only through framing. Now a house that we'd have to go into and look at more characteristics, as we talked about before, would take longer, so I would say maybe 30-35 minutes at most.
Wow, but still, for every single house in the county of new construction, that's a lot.
It adds up.
My goodness. What else do you think that the community would find interesting about new construction appraisals?
I think really just knowing the process of what we do and just knowing that, verifying characteristics. Cloudy day to day, but this particular site has a real nice mountain view, so that's something that the market would pay more for, so that's one of the site characteristics that we would pick up.
So before you leave this site, how do you wrap it up? What else do you need to do here once you've taken all your measurements?
Once I'm finally done, I will take a picture.
Okay.
And those pictures are available online for the public to see, as well as these floor plans. Floor plans for all the properties in Kitsap County are available online. So that would wrap it up for this site.
Wow. So can we head to another project that's a lot further along, and can you show me your process there?
Yes, absolutely. I think there's one right around the corner that's just about done.
Okay, let's head over there.
Excellent, thanks. Yeah, so over here, as you note, that this house has got the cement fiber siding. The windows have been trimmed out.
So now that we're here, Perry, and we can see a lot more finished product of the house, what are the kinds of things that you're looking for?
Again, percentage complete, verifying that we have our characteristics correct. This particular house is through the framing, like the last one. This has had the siding, the windows, the gutters, the insulation, the drywall. So just verifying that we have the correct percentage is my biggest goal.
Okay. And all of those different elements are adding value to the home, is that correct?
Correct. Up to 100% the house would be finished, but each particular characteristics as it is added to the house does add value.
Okay. So what kind of things would you look for if we were going to go inside today?
Inside, at a new construction visit, seeing the percent done. Does it have the cabinets in? Does it have the flooring in? Does it have the heat system in? Lighting, all the way down to the finished trim is usually the last thing that's added to a house.
Okay. And you're looking also at the quality of products used there, I'm assuming, to determine price value as well? I guess what kind of cabinets or what kind of cabinets or
Yes, great question.
Okay.
And it all involves a quality, which is subjective judgment by each appraiser, looking at ceiling heights, looking at countertops, looking at windows. Are the windows wrapped? What sort of hardwood is down? Looking at all those individual characteristics as you would when you went to go to buy a house.
Sure.
Does it have vinyl on the bathroom floor? Does it have tile? So we're looking as a buyer would also.
So tell me a little bit about the products that are used inside the house. How does that work against or for the appraisal value here?
Yes, every house has a quality, and that's a subjective judgment that we will look at as you would as a home buyer. Does it have hardwood? Does it have vinyl? Does it have tile? In a bathroom floor, for example, is it just a sheet vinyl or is it a tile? What sort of countertops? What sort of cabinet package they have in? what sort of windows also, any characteristic or component of structure is going to add to its quality.
Okay. And do those things change with time, you know, depending on what's popular or what's, you know, the going trend right now?
Yes, quality is a sliding goal and a subjective judgment for sure. I always use granite slab as my example. Back in the early 90s, they didn't have it. Corian was really top notch, and then granite slab for years was popular. Now it's quartz.
Right.
So it is interesting how qualities and tastes and what people pay for changes.
Sure, absolutely. I imagine, like you said, that is really subjective.
Yes. Yeah, and looking really with this commercial, thinking about what each buyer, you know, a lot of people don't understand what the assessor does. We try to appraise as a fee appraiser, as a buyer would. So that's our main goal.
Sure, and that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. So tell me, what are some of the frequently asked questions you get from the public about the office?
Are you allowed to be here? You can't be here, you need to leave, is one I get not fairly often. And there is state law giving access to all appraisers to each property. Now, we will be very wary of that. If I run into a irate taxpayer, you know, I'll let him know, you know, I do have the right to be here and I will leave. I don't want to cause any problems, but I'm gonna have to guess from the road. And my biggest fear is I just don't want to guess wrong, and I'll tell them that.
Yeah, absolutely. What other kind of questions do you get?
Similar to the ones we talked about. How are you valuing this place?
Sure.
What are the components you're putting into it? And then what are the 3 comps? You know,
of course.
Which we do the mass appraisal, so we're doing statistical measure of sale price to assess value. So
sure. As a citizen and a home buyer, I think it's really comforting to see how much effort and thought goes into that appraisal. There's really a lot of things that you're checking for out here.
Yes, thank you. And I think most property owners are fairly surprised when we get to actually chat with them and let them know everything and how we're doing this.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much for inviting me along today, Perry. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for coming.
No problem.
So I really enjoyed getting out here to see what goes on in the field, Phil. It's really interesting. Tell me how that correlates back to the office and your numbers there.
Sure. Well, it's amazing what work our appraisers have to do in the field. Now, you know, it's really interesting. When we're in this new construction phase of our cycle, this year we're looking at about 2,000 permits in total throughout the county. And our staff has to go through and decipher, you know, through those and decide which ones are worth going out to check on and so forth. And it's not just this new construction. It's all the remodels. It's the family that's building the detached garage with the ADU, or they're doing the kitchen remodel, or you know, they're adding on to the existing home and they're putting on an extra bedroom for a growing family or whatever it may be. We have to follow up with that and check it so that we can add those characteristics to what we already have to determine an accurate value for future property tax distribution.
And within what kind of time frame from when that permit is filed do you have to get out there and check on it?
So we have to have it all figured by July 31st of each year.
Wow.
So we will use that date, determine based off where they are in their construction phase, and use that for determining taxes for the following year.
So over 2,000 permits that your office is reviewing just sounds astronomical to me. How does that translate into dollars?
So last year, with all the new construction value that we looked at, that was about $230 million of value to the overall county's property value.
Wow, that's quite a bit.
Yeah, well, it sounds like a lot, but last year there was about $27 billion of real estate value in the county. This year, due to market appreciation, we're probably going to eclipse $30 billion.
And is that about average for growth in a year?
Well, that exceeds 10%. So, you know, that just shows that we have a really good, solid real estate market right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So what else does the community need to know about the assessor's office and these sort of construction?
I think that one of the things that really is missed by homeowners is that our office offers an exemption program for a remodel. So 1977, the state passed a remodel exemption that we administer for property owners, and it gives a property owner a 3-year exemption up to 30% of the value of their property for the work that they put into their home, for the remodel that they do.
Wow, that's really an amazing program.
It's quite beneficial to someone who's just put out a lot of money to improve the value, the quality of their home. And so it's our way of being able to offer them a little bit of a break for a few years.
Wonderful. Well, thanks so much for you and your staff to showing us around out here today.
You're most welcome.
We really enjoyed our visit today with the assessor's office and figuring out more about what they do out here in the field. Thanks for joining us on this edition of The Inside Report.
You know, Doug, it was really interesting to see exactly what goes into the process to determine property values. So that wraps up this month's Inside Report. You can see back episodes on the Inside Report on the county's Vimeo site. Go to the website shown below and click on the Vimeo link on the right side.
Well, there was a lot of information, and it was a really great segment. We hope that you'll tune in next month. For the Inside Report, this is Doug Bear.
And I'm Constance Blackburn. Thanks for watching.